Hey guys, welcome back here to Advanced Bass Fishing, and appreciate you guys swinging by the channel to join me for today's episode. And guys, today I just want to have a little laid back, relaxing talk about some of the favorite lures I like to fish in the month of April. At the time of filming this video, we're just a day or two out from April. We're coming up on what I think is the best month of the year to fish. I think April is probably the best time of year to catch bass on about any lake across the country. And I got a few baits here, guys. I just want to sort of go through them a little bit and just sort of have a chill little video here and talk about the ones I like to fish in today's video here. Also, guys, the baits I talk about today, I will have my tackle warehouse link in the description of the video here. If you guys would like to order any of those baits that I talk about, they're all available. You can get them through my tackle warehouse link in the description. Great way to support the channel, man. If you guys buy those baits through tackle warehouse on my link there, the channel gets a small percentage of a commission on anything you buy, so really appreciate that. And also, guys, quick reminder, anybody interested in booking a private on-the-water lesson with me, just go to my Facebook page, Facebook page, Intuitive Angling with Randy Blaukat. Shoot me a private message, and I do most of my lessons here on Table Rock Lake and Stockton Lake in Missouri, and we can cover about any technique you want to learn more about. So appreciate everybody's taking me up on that. Okay, guys, we're coming up on what I think is the greatest month of the year to fish. I mean, I think one of the reasons, or not one of the reasons, the reason is there's just more fish up shallow biting. And it's like, I don't care how, what you like to do in fishing. It's like I've never talked to anybody that didn't like to catch bass shallow fishing. I mean, when you can see the fish, when you're throwing around something, I mean, that's just the funnest thing about bass fishing is catching them shallow. And I got several different baits I want to talk about here in today's video here that some of them we talked about before, but I just wanted a little refresher course on it to get you guys familiar with it. Now, the first one I want to talk about is I've been talking about this bait a lot over the last month. Probably my favorite bait personally to fish in the month of April, day in and day out, is just a shaky head. This is that new Zoom thick trick worm. I really like it. Got that Gamakatsu tricky head on it. You can't beat a shaky head in April. It's like it works everywhere. Three colors primarily I use. I use a watermelon in real clear water, like if the water visibility is over 4 foot. Green pumpkin if the water visibility is like between 2 to 4 foot. And if the water visibility is under 2 foot, I'm usually using a black. So I catch a bunch of fish on a shaky head in April. It's a really good bait anywhere that you fish. About the only place a shaky head will not work very good is on a grass lake or something like that. It's not the best bait for a grass lake. Okay, the next one with that is going to be everybody's favorite, is just a wacky rig. I don't got my hook in here with it. I got one hand on the cell phone, but basically just taking the wacky rig, a soft plastic stick bait, hook a 1/0 straight shank hook through the middle of it like that, and you're fishing this wacky in the same type of areas you'd fish the shaky head. Now, the difference between me fishing a wacky and a shaky head has to do with how deep I'm fishing. If I'm fishing, less than 3 or 4 foot of water, I like the wacky for the slow fall, especially if the water's clear. If the water's a little bit deeper or windy, I go to the shaky head. But one thing I found about a shaky head and a wacky rig is they sort of work hand in hand. One day they want a wacky rig, one day they want a shaky head. Just sort of have to mix it up to get a feel for that there. Next one, guys, is a Ned rig. This is that Z-Man. It's called, I think it's called the TRD, but I really like this one right here, guys. This is a copper truce. This really works good in April. Most of the time on my Ned rigs, I just take a piece of my soft plastic stick bait and cut it off. And you can catch fish in April doing that, but there's something about this copper truce color that really catches a lot of fish in April there. Okay, another one is probably the funnest bait you're going to fish in April is a floating worm. I use a bunch of different colors. I use white, bubblegum, methylate, different type of colors, chartreuse, green. Just any type of a bright colored floating worm is a really good bait to fish in April. April is probably the #1 month of the year to fish a floating worm. And I usually just rig it on a 1/0 straight shank hook. Make sure you got, barrel swivel on it because it will twist your line without it. Same thing, just fish it in and around shallow cover. And that's the thing about all the baits I'm talking about here, guys, is just fish them in those areas you think the fish are spawning in. Now, the fish don't necessarily have to be bedding or seeing them, but there's just going to be a lot of fish in those flatter, protected, hard bottom areas we've been talking about a lot here in the videos here. Here's another one we talked about a little bit on the podcast I did last week. Guys, this old school sluggo is still an incredible bass catcher. Anytime you're catching bass on like a fluke or something, sluggo can be a really good bait. And if a sluggo will produce a bigger fish than a fluke for the most part. It glides through the water. I usually use like a straight shank 4/0 Gamakatsu straight shank worm hook in it. Again, I do use the barrel swivel on it because it will trust your line. But just fishing it in those same type of shallow areas, they don't see a fluke, any type of a sluggo that much anymore, but can really be good there. Okay, another one, this is something that doesn't get fished much anymore, but it's really good, and that is the old school Rapala. Now, this is the number 13 Rapala here, and I fish this as a topwater bait in April. So I'll just throw it out there in those flatter protected spawning areas and just twitch it along the surface. Twitch it maybe a ½ inch under the surface, let it float to the top, let all the ripples dissipate, twitch it down just to like where the head goes under the water, and just work it really, really slow in those spawning areas, especially if you have water visibility like, say over 2 foot, it works really good. And another thing about the Rapala, guys, if you're fishing in a body of water that has shallow vegetation and somewhat clean water, like water visibility of 3 foot or greater, and you've got some grass in the water, twitching that Rapala on a shallow grass lake is deadly in April, especially on a cloudy day that doesn't have much wind with it. Okay, a couple more here, guys, that I really like. This is the Megabass Sleeper Gill Swimbait here. My favorite way to fish the sleeper gill in the April is to skip it in and around cover. It skips like, it's flat, so it skips like a rock. It's probably the easiest skipping bait you'll ever use, but I skip it underneath boat docks. I'll skip it underneath overhanging trees. Just fishing it shallow, fish it a couple inches under the water. Just keep it in sight. You don't want to get it out of sight, and they will hammer this thing in April in shallow water. And then finally, this Megabass Sleeper Craw is a really good bait in April too. Again, I pitch it and flip it around shallow cover. You can always also fish the Sleeper Craw like a swim jig, just reel it just like a swim jig. But it's really good around lay down trees or docks in the water in April, Megabass Sleeper Craw. So anyway, all those will be linked. You can get all those at my Tackle Warehouse link if you want to get them there. But anyway, guys, the main thing with it is that those are some of my most productive baits, and just stay in those areas where you think those fish are spawning. And most of the best spawning areas are areas that are a little bit flatter, areas that are not getting a lot of wind on it. They're protected from the wind a little bit. They tend to be better if they have a harder bottom. You may or may not need cover. It doesn't necessarily matter, but mainly a hard bottom that has, a fairly decent amount of sunlight coming in on it. And, those are real conducive to a lot of fish moving in there and spawning. So, guys, hope it helps you catch some this month, and we'll talk later.